Welcome everyone to Behavior Code. I'm Yogi Chris, and we have Deven Cripe, aka DC Fitness, aka DC Spartan God Fitness, or we'll get the handle down. But this is a guy that the energy of him and how he carries himself and his posture, even though he's young, he's awakening. Like I said the other day in Lions Den, we all have a blueprint in us that there's a lot that's obscuring it from coming out. And so it's really talking to that part of somebody and letting them bring it out. It's amazing. We have so much potential. And this guy, I think he's 20, and he's really dove into AZD IMC process in the Lions Den, coming around to boot camps, beast camps, every camp. And here he is, Deven Cripe. We'll get to know him. What's going on with you today, brother?
Right now I'm in between petitioning out here in California, the recall Governor Newsom, as well as figuring out marketing strategy to get more people into my DC Spartan God fitness program, as well as my DC Health and Fitness transformation program. And as always, evolving, growing, learning, being the best.
Right on. So the petitioning is really interesting because you got connected with that with Johnny Ranger. I think I had him on here once. John Werder. And so that's really great that you can be active like that, because we were definitely, super Trump here in communist California. And so you're out there getting those signatures. Is that contributing to the fitness right now? Like, are you able to meet anybody that's like, you can connect to your Instagram and whatnot?
Yeah, I typically get 5 to 10 followers a day, just from knowing them that I can provide them value, keep them up to date with certain things, and then provide like fitness workouts, health advice, and stuff like that.
Oh man!
And then I hang out like 20 to 40 business cards a day. But recently, since I've done it, I've gotten one client, one student from yeah. But there'll be more to come.
What's that?
There'll be more to come.
Yeah, and in time, it doesn't hurt to have followers, people that participate with your, the value you put out. So, all right, well, let's get into, this is a channel. Behavior Code was built on, I was interviewing guys that did Tabiat, guys that did Messengers, this very prestigious program with Arash. And then that expanded to the Love Spell boot camps, the Lions Den boot camps, and then the Beast camps. And then whatever camps we got going on now. We got Tribal Council coming up. So it's not a Beast camp, it's something else.
Yeah.
And, I'm interested. Sometimes the people like you in your position, I call you like the guest. Sometimes you're not as interested as me. I'm way more interested. I don't know why it is, but I'm so interested in like how you came around to AZD, what decisions or life events happened that like had you make kind of the plunge whenever that transition point was for you, and then like any difficulties along the way, just kind of charting your path. So what got you started? Like, how did you begin?
Cool. Yeah, it's very, find the right words. It's very mysterious and inspiring on how I exactly got into AZD and Lions Den and IMC Nation. It really, AZD talks about God speaks to you in coincidences, and I believe that's exactly what happened. I was just graduated high school. I was following Brian Casella, BC with IMC Nation for a good few months. He actually inspired me to get into real estate. I started studying for my real estate license, decided that wasn't for me.
Wow.
But I started following him about a year before I even found out about AZD. And I've heard watching his YouTube videos, he mentioned AZD probably 2 or 3 times, just like, saying that he learned this from AZD. Yeah. And I just brushed it off. I didn't really look into it. But the name was familiar. Mm-hmm. And then I decided from moving from Carson City, Nevada, to move to San Jose, because I had an opportunity to rent a room out. It was a bigger city, more opportunity. So I decided to go there. Become a fitness trainer. And as I was living in San Jose, if you guys don't know, that's where Arash is from. He's lived basically his entire life there. I was working at GNC, also being a personal trainer. And one day when I was working in GNC, about 8 months into living in San Jose, this tattoo guy walks in, right? Has a whole bunch of tattoos all over his face, and he has a super hot girl he's walking in with, right? And he's lecturing her, like telling her about mindset and confidence, like, hey, you can't handle, like, you can't be speaking like this, and you got to speak this way, different things like that. And I'm just stalking the shelf, you know, overhearing what they're saying, and he gets checked out, and then he walks out, and I was all like, who's that, to my coworker, and she's all like, you don't know who that is? And I was like, no, who is it? And she's like, I think his name's AZD. He's like this pickup artist. He has like 6 girlfriends. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, let me see his Instagram. And she like, so I followed his Instagram, started following him probably a month or something like that before I started following you, Yogi Chris, right? And once I started following you and liking AZD's post, liking your post, you ended up reaching out saying, what's up, brother? Like, I see that you're following BC. I'm seeing you're following me. I'm seeing you're following Arash. You started asking questions. We got in dialogue, and you pretty much, you know, got me into Lions Den. And I was into Lions Den probably, I think, 2 weeks before I went to my first Beast Camp. Or I think it was the first Beast Camp ever. So yeah, that was my introductory to IMC, everything, AZD.
That's true, man. I remember you saying no, no, no a few times. And then it came at the last second was a yes to the boot camp at the time. There was the June boot camp. It was the first Lions Den camp. And that's where we got the prison workout, the calisthenics routine. You also had a major gangster wannabe hater handled in that camp, I believe. Or was it July that happened? Was it June or July?
I believe it was July. I think it was the second camp.
You came back the second camp, and then that happened, and that was rad to see, because that was you know, a reference that you just don't get to see. And
which is something very inspirational about AZD is I went to the first camp. Cool, you know, I met him. I didn't really I think I had some dialogue with him after the camp, but you know, we didn't really know each other. But going into the second camp, you know, I mentioned to him that this guy was talking shit, blah 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 blah. You know, I was kind of hesitant to bring up to him because I thought he wouldn't give a fuck. Like,
because I think the first camp had a lot of people, and I think BC was there also, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the reason I really decided to go to the first camp, because it was really I thought, you know, I just followed AZD a couple weeks. You know, it wasn't like a huge thing to meet him. You know, you know, it'd be cool, but it was a huge thing for me to meet BC because I've been for a year. And I was like, you know what? I see the opportunity. I'm like, you know what? It's worth it in my mind to pay that money just to be able to shake hands with those guys.
Yeah, and you're training alongside of your teacher. That's amazing. So, okay, cool. So then the July camp, you come back. BC doesn't come back to the next one, and then this thing happens.
Yeah. So one of my friends, or he was like a gym buddy, we worked out and we talked. He's much older than me, you know. I was 19 at the time, he's like 33, and he was just saying that, you know, Rosh isn't good news. He's a cult leader. He manipulates people. He said a whole bunch of bullshit. He doesn't even know the guy. He just heard a whole bunch of stuff. And me, I was like, nah, you know, I'm smart, you know, this and that. But he started attacking me, saying that I was young and ignorant and stupid, basically stuff like that. And I ended up mentioning it to Arash, just like I thought he would. He just shrugged it off. He's like, why would I give a fuck what that, you know, guy says? And then he let it sit with him for about 30 seconds. He's like, what was he saying? Let me see your phone. And he sent him a voice message, and really went into a 2-3 hour blowout, right, of handling this hater. And it was the idea of that this guy is being a bully towards me, and this is the type of attitude he probably has towards other people. So that was something that I think for sure got me into believing in Arash and IMC more than, you know, than anything, is that this man doesn't even know me. He's willing to stand up for me, you know, for me, sure. But I think just because of the hate and being a bully, standing up for that.
Yeah, it was an excellent demonstration for everybody. It was during the boot camp. It's on the recordings. So a lot of people got to see that reference. So there's a lot of good karma to come from it, with a lot of strong men duplicating that skill around the world. Really, it just will spread. It's, you know, so a lot of good juju there. And, you know, you came in as the soil for that, you know, and that's great. Okay, so take us forward. Take us from there.
Cool.
That
So
made a big shift in your opinion of, or in let's say your trust and camaraderie with AZD.
Yeah.
You know.
Looking back at it now, it's not how I thought about in the present moment, but looking back at it now is really what I've gone from IMC and AZD is so much about character and ethics, right? And looking back at it now, one of the reasons it made me way more committed and serious and about everything that I was learning a part of at that point was that display of character with him and seeing that, this guy is legit. Me going into the first two boot camps, or me just going into IMC, the lines and everything in general, a lot of people go just to learn how to get women, how to pick up women, how to talk to women, how to have a girlfriend, multiple girlfriends, stuff like that. That was not my interest at all. Really, that was like probably the 10th thing that I cared about at the time. It was searching for.
Just so you know, that's so interesting because Troy Abreu was on like 2 nights ago, and he's like, I want 300 girlfriends, or two weeks ago. And it's amazing. Everybody's got a different thing they come in at.
Yeah. It's definitely more important now since I've gone more into it.
That's
and
interesting.
It's gotten more important since I've been in it. But it was probably ass backwards as far as like I wasn't studying seductive instinct. I wasn't following AZD, love spell, diamond mind. I didn't even know about this guy at all. And until I met him, basically.
Yeah. and 19 years old at the time, man. Everybody think back when you were 19 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of not even real because I try to compare myself as a person because physically in our physical bodies, I'm taller than Arash. I weigh more than Arash, and it's not, and obviously I know he's older, but it's just like looking at him human to human. What I'm trying to say is that he is really, I try to compare myself to people, not like on that's how I measure myself, but like I imagine myself, I could be that person. And he's somebody, being the role model, being the hero that I look up to. That's something that really that I was searching for before I got into, before it kind of God or the universe or law of attraction. I was looking for that so much before I met Arash, before I went to the boot camps. As I was looking for, I actually hired a men's coach. I actually hired different coaches. I was a part of a lot of different programs, looking for a role model, looking for some a way, looking for someone I could base myself off of, because I didn't really have that growing up. So that was something that was handed to me, right on a silver platter with Arash, and I see it couldn't be any better. Him doing that.
Man, that's incredible. I remember you had a bunch of different coaches. Would you talk about that? Because I see there are other podcasts with subjects related to this and my enlightened masculinity that are way more successful. Maybe it's just duration they've been doing it, but they look pretty. They're prettier boys for sure, and everything, their marketing and everything is better. So of course, but when I listen to it, it's just weak. And sometimes they say good things, but you got to distinguish the words from the attitude and the energy. So would you talk about, I mean, you don't have to dog on anybody or name anybody, but like, what's your experience going through coaches looking for a mentor? And then like, you went through BC and up to AZD.
Mm-hmm. I definitely won't dog anyone. Rosh, says fuck all of your coaches, and I've talked to other people, and definitely not, anybody that's trying to help and help people get better, I definitely support all the way. And there's definitely been some people that I've role modeled, that were good role models for me over the internet. Like, for example, I still have it. I hired a business coach, Brandon Carter, someone that I do see that does a lot of good work. Same thing. I look up to Gary Vee. I look up to Elliot Holst. Those are people I've been looking up for years. But one thing I will say, I've talked to my friends and this and that. They say they like more people better than Arash, but I'll say nobody's more touchable than Arash. Arash will actually talk to you. You actually can meet and shake hands with Arash. Arash will actually give a fuck about you. Like he actually shows that you're more than just another person. And that could be, for a lot of reasons. But what I will say is that that's a huge thing right there, is that he's actually someone that I have his phone number and I could text him. I know I could call him if I needed something, versus if you look up at any of those guys, they're they're bigger or whatever the reason, like you can't touch them,
They're also
they're
disconnected because their
yeah,
fame is based on something other than just how they live.
yes,
It's not a fame based on your ability to interact with new people, old people, young people, girlfriend people, haters, enemies, all sorts of things. And especially dealing with dealing with multiple women, you'll get a lot of hate, a lot of pushback from so many women and so many men, disgruntled boyfriends and everything, disgruntled husbands, that we got a Zoom user trying to enter. I wonder if that's a hater, actually. I'll let it sit for a second, see if they get frustrated. If they're really IMC, they'll persist a little bit longer. If they're also really hater, they might persist a little longer. So, when you get to know them, a lot of those gurus, if they've made it past certain thresholds, they've all made the mistake of getting too close with a diehard fan, only to be discovered to be somewhat fraudulent in their demeanor, their beingness. They shift in and out of, like, there's their business mind, and then there's like living. And
yeah,
whereas AZD, it's like he is that all the time.
yeah, that's something that is inspirational to me, is that something that I've always wanted and looked up to is I want to get paid for living, just like doing what I'm meant here to do, that I'm inspired to do, that I want to do, and just living my life off of that. And that's something that, yeah, exactly. I don't know many people who do that. They provide a service that they're passionate about, but it's not their entire life. He just speaks his life, which is his philosophy.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. It's true. And all right. So yeah, other coaches, everybody's doing good. And then, but you decide, so you went, so you're still working with a coach, actually. So you have other coaches on other subjects.
My business, it's a program. So once you make the payment, you're part of it for life. Kind of like, so like they do a weekly Zoom call, this and that, and it's specifically targeted on how to get more fitness clients online.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
all.
I get that. I mean, I study yoga postures from a guy. And so, I'm not learning yoga postures from AZD. It's a mindset that you apply to being a student. There's a student's mindset that you can learn from AZD. He teaches how he is a student in different ways. And you get to see a lot of other diehard followers and students. And so you get a lot of good reference for how to be a beast, how to be this beingness that you're trying to be. Everybody's, adopting it in their own way, making it their own. So you see how everybody's doing a similar thing to what you're doing. Like if we were all playing an instrument, trying to play a song, like you would hear good qualities and not as good qualities. And you'd get such a, diversity there that you could find things, how to be, that you wouldn't have maybe thought of on your own in that time. And so you accelerate your evolution with the group like that. And that's just so cool. I mean, I remember being 19, hating when people would call out my age and be like, "Oh, you're just 19." I know that it sucks to like be, and you're 20 now, but it sucked to be 20. And people would be like, "But it's so amazing, dude." When I think about it, me at 20, like, fuck, what photograph are you going to develop? What vision are you going to develop? That's just so cool. So, all right. So you don't have to pick apart every event, anything like that. I remember you missed the August event, and I thought, I wonder if DC's going to come back around or if he's dropping off. And the September event, I don't remember if you were there. I don't think you were. But then, or were you? And then October.
I definitely wasn't the September one. I know I think I've only missed one. All the completely missed it. All the other ones I've been on at least online, if I wasn't in person. And I think I for sure missed the September one. I was in Oregon with some friends. I wouldn't say it was a good decision, but I definitely don't live with regrets.
Sure.
But I definitely wish I was at that boot camp, at least online for sure.
I know what you mean. I had that earlier.
It was the first one you guys were at, that the temple.
Yeah,
that was the first temple one.
Right on.
Yeah, base one.
So cool. So, all right. So take us through, you don't have to take us through any more events if you want, but like, what are some moments of transition that have happened for you along the way? Because you started basically June last year. So that's month number 6. We're in month number 2 of the next year. So we're like
8 months.
We're 8 months, dude. Like anything
you
can say about it?
Fastest evolution in my life by far. The last 8 months in so many different ways. My trajectory of life has completely taken like a 180, like completely a different direction. I was very I had a lot of stuff, but I didn't have so much direction or vision, or I would even say like and grounded before this. I think I was going off the wrong path um before I got into IMC Nation. So the last 8 months, uh it's really, it's uncomparable. Like I have nothing to compare it to. Like I have Snapchat, right? In Snapchat you have different you can look back. It reminds you like what you saved a year ago. And I look at myself a year ago and I just laugh. And so for so many reasons. Uh it's really, I'm not even close to the same person. I've always, it's really a part of me I've always had since I was young, has been carried with me. And I always knew from a young age that I wasn't like anybody. I didn't want anything that anybody else wanted. I didn't want a normal life, you know, a normie lifestyle. I wanted, I just didn't know what that meant. I don't know. Of course, like you know, get rich and this was always like, okay, you know, I don't want this. I want those big things, right? But now it's, sure, it's a little bit of that, but not really at all. It's more like not living a normal mindset, like viewing life the same, speaking the same, walking the same, treating people the same. It's not about the material stuff. It's about how you live the life. And that has completely changed for me, because before IMC, I was really uh, just barely finding myself in this. It's not so much finding myself, it's really pulling myself out of myself. Like really getting rid of all the bullshit. So I'd say I'm not even close. It's hard to compare because I'm not even close to the same person.
Were there any moments that stand out of, you know, changing as a person?
Each event, each, it's every single day. Like each lines then, it could be one line, it could be one lecture on a product, it could be you know, something, just one part of an event or the entire event that has just nodded me like into different, one specific moment that the handling the bully, uh I would say that for sure helped me as far as not taking bullshit anymore. Like realizing that, even like not letting things be okay. Like me before with my friends, you know, and I see it with other adults that have been around me, is that they call them idiots, or the disrespect in the communication. They act like it's no big deal and they just live their lives like that. Me, I was had that in my life, and now that, just that one event, now that is completely turned off. That was a huge moment, was the bully.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah.
another one, I don't know, it wasn't a specific event, but like the way that my parents speak to me. I've always had a problem with my dad and how he spoke with me, but now I know how to properly communicate it without attacking him,
Wow.
and still, yeah. Because before he would attack me and say things about me, so I would attack him and start saying shit about him. But now I communicate like, hey, you know, you don't talk to your son like that. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not going to talk to you. And and I'm like way more calm. I see my mastering my communication, like with my family, with my dad, with my mom, and with my grandparents. And it's crazy to me, my level of understanding and my level of communication is so much higher than them. I like, they don't realize, like, I see it because they suck so bad. I don't say they suck, but I look at it, I'm all like, they don't know what I know, and I can see where their communication's flawed. All I'm going to do is make sure that my communication is as best as I can, and I'm going to understand that they don't know how to communicate, and I'm not going to I can't really help them with that. I just can understand it, so it actually makes me feel better, you know. Before, my mom would attack me, right? She would yell at me, she'd say fuck you, she would say all this shit, and I realized that she's just a woman responding off her emotions, and she doesn't even feel that way, you know. She's just going off the rail. So before, you know, I'm seeing the understanding, that would hurt me, or that would like affect me, right? I'd be like, oh, my mom doesn't love me or some shit like that. Now I'm so like, that's not even her. That's right. That's not even her. That's just the way she's acting in the moment.
That's hella beast, bro. You're a hella good communicator and hella mature. And that's awesome, because really, when we're talking about good juju, good karma putting out there, you know, when he demonstrated how to handle the bully, what good karma to teach someone how to handle their family, because that's going to pay dividends over. Johnny Freedom Rangers here. He knows, like, it's going to just keep reaping rewards in the saved frustration, the saved stress. You spare your own life, really, and you help the lives of them, because literally you're saving them. You're saving them as you bring them up in the world. Every sentence from you frees them more than they would have otherwise. They didn't lead you to AZD. You made decisions on your own, a little bit thanks to yours truly. But that's really where the relationship is, because I know every female, she's lost. When she's done interacting with me, there's some pros and cons about the world. There are guys that have lots of resources, guys that are connected, guys that know this and that. And, you know, there are various levels on the tier. But after me, because I'm going up, she's going down. I haven't met a girl that's going up, because that would be like a 12 or 14-year-old girl or a 16-year-old girl. Like, I'm not interacting with them. At 18, they're already going down. They'll go up in maturity and in their ability and their intelligence. And so maybe their optimum is going to be like, I don't know, 22, 23. It doesn't even matter, because that's not the main thing in a long-term relationship. It's very animal. But I know when I'm meeting her that it's nature meeting each other. And what is my value in survival, in my ability to effectively survive in the environment, and then just start increasing the level, like you're in Mortal Kombat, like increase the level. If you increase the pressures from the environment, how much can I survive? You know, the people at the top would survive. Like if there was an apocalypse and they have underground fucking housing for the nuclear apocalypse, that's hella survival. That's hella survival to be able to afford that or whatever. So, and that's at level apocalypse. Like, who has survival value then? You know, I don't need the money. I need friends with the people that have the money. So I can access that a different way. There's another value going on in life besides money. And it's status, really. And it's, which is a behavior, and it's validated by other people. So there was a point I was saying right there, the handling of the family. You know, I know the interaction with me, the value is going to be her ability to handle her friends, her guy friends, whatever the fuck that is, her mom and her dad that are probably abusive like yours or whatever. I'm sure that, I mean, they raised you to this age, so that's good, because now you're here and you're great communicators. So they did something right, but they did other things not right. How to interact with her kids, if she has kids, all these things can be improved, because nobody's really taught her communication. She learned socialist communication in socialist schools with socialist degrees on socialist communication. And it's how to be a sheep. That's their communication. And what does she have time to study for herself? She's too busy trying to survive with a world that would take advantage of her. What is she really studying that's improving her? So that's, you know, the leverage where you have it. So
that's actually funny. My girlfriend has 3 degrees in communications, and she's just amazed by the way I speak. And when we're in dialogue, she's speechless, and she's all like, it's funny because I have 3 degrees in communication and I still don't know how to communicate. And
hell yeah,
you're a better communicator than me.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Right. That's right. That's impressive too, because who knows what the fuck they're studying? God damn it. They're oh man. Oh my God. Well, how frustrating. How awesome.
Yeah, she agreed it. You just go to school so you can get a job. Like, you just get the little sentence, the little piece of paper, whatever, so the job will take you in. You know, it doesn't really show more than that. You know, I mean, of course, you have a PhD. It shows a lot. It shows a lot of dedication.
And it's in engineering. You know, hard science is different than communication. I mean, I have math equations. Yeah. you can't bullshit a math equation. You can bullshit a poem in fucking writing class.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But like me, I'm like, the college has never made sense, because a job is not something I want. And the people that I want to be like, the people I've always looked up to, said fuck college, or they didn't go to college. So I was like, why would I even think about that, right? So it was an external pressure, because that's quote unquote the right thing to do, right? So that's something I'm like, Arash mentioned just a few lectures ago, that, you know, it'd be cool if we can get some people to sponsor, you know, people to go to IMC, right? Call IMC college or whatever like that, you know, to start going to boot camps, because really people be spending 50, 60, you know, $70,000 a year to go to college. And if you just spent even a fraction of that going to some of these boot camps and these camps, you would get way more out of it. That would completely change your life in so many more ways than, you know, learning some some history or some stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know, I went to college to wrestle, but when that was done, I wish I had met Arash. And truthfully, I wish I had met Arash before that, because his mindset for my wrestling, but I think his first YouTube videos was around 2009, and I stopped wrestling in 2008. So it would have been perfect, but that's like existential crisis of what if. It's all perfect timing, really, because I'm going to peak at the right time in this on this planet, in this universe. It's going to be right. And it's all happening. So, Amor Fati, right? So let's see. Okay, move us forward. We just got a little bit of time left, really. If anybody has any comments or questions, you should type that out now. And also, you know, subscribe to this channel, whatever you're watching it on, Spotify or whatever. Share it with your friends. If you're on Facebook Live, people should see this. This is great. And obviously, we got a camp coming up, all sorts of things going on. So just get on the newsletter and you'll see about it. And so DC, catch us up with any other transitions that happened. So you had the transition in your own life. The events were amazing, but then in your own life, you had the transition of handling your family communications and, you know, what else is going on?
Well, everything with the relationship, from getting the girl to it's funny, like everything I've learned, everything that I've learned, I applied on her, right? And it seemed like, oh, manipulation or this or this. It's like, no, you actually know how to play the game, you know, instead of winging it. And I just used certain things, and I was amazed by actually how things worked out and worked. And everything that I can, you know, learned and continue to learn helps me tremendously in my relationship, that make it better in so many ways. And I think without learning what I learned, the relationship probably wouldn't have happened, or maybe it would have happened, but it wouldn't have gone to the level it got to. Or let's say we even started dating, it would be way different, or she would be fucking, you know, owning my balls, or it'd be something not even close to as good as is now. So as far as relationships with this one girl, it's not even, I have nothing to compare it to, except for like I had 2 serious relationships before that one, and there were jokes compared to this one. Like, that's why I told her, and that's giving too much credit to her. I said that you're my best girlfriend that I've ever had. This is the best relationship I ever had. I told her that, which is giving her a lot of credit, when really in reality, no, it's because of me, and it's because of IMC. It's not because of her.
Because the other relationships were phony, or whatever the word you said, also because of you.
Yeah.
It's the man's responsibility, the quality of the relationship. It's the woman's responsibility to attract the best man she can. Unless she wants to take the lead and take charge and take responsibility and all of that. And that's what you see is a movement now of women that are taking relationship coaching from other women that have they're dominant in their relationships. And, you know, they just have they've been betrayed by everything, because everything's out of order. Everything is, you know, off code around, because of the mass mind control of the media for shit since the Bible was written. I don't know, like, but the nature goes way further back than that. So amazing. All right, anything else?
What's the exact question?
Any changes, any updates, man? Because the next time it's going to be new stuff, and it's this. You know, I remember my dad taught me, because he's an avid collector of National Geographics, the printed magazine, and he has all but like 2 since like 1890 whatever, which is impressive. He takes it's nobody even cares about National Geographics anymore, but
that's crazy.
A few people, but he does, man, and it's actually really cool to be able to touch one and open it. And he said something that was like, you know, science gets better, but he was like, but sometimes the people that were closer to the events that happened, they report it more accurately than the people later that just report on what was reported. And so it's very useful to kind of document things closer to when they happened.
Mm-hmm. It's like, a mere reflection of seeing Arash's.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing Arash's evolution in the last 8 months. And is, you know, when with the first 2 camps, it was the process of the beast, introducing the beast. He was a lot more angrier, right? And I can look at his YouTube videos from years ago. Even then, it's been a huge evolution as far as that. But seeing his evolution in the last 8 months into, you know, being more of a, you know, angry or more beast in certain ways, being more, spiritual in certain ways, and having different transitions and maturity and realizations and everything like that. I see that a reflection of the entire group. Like we evolve, those of evolutions of him, we follow him, so, and so in the same way, like early on within the first couple boot camps, I was more, beast, like angry, or like, like super energized, like, even off the top, and that was my way of, embracing it. And then as he transitioned into other phases, the whole group transitioned, I transitioned as well. So it just hella, leading the pack, leading the evolution of myself. So every single way that Arash, has evolved, that I see that reflection within myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the teacher is a reflection of the student. That's why you're aspiring to it, because you see it in yourself, you're resonating with it. And so, of course, and, that's where, if you don't like what the teacher does, it's because what the teacher's doing doesn't reflect something that's resonating with you. It's out of resonance with, because you sometimes you lose ownership of, you like surrender it. Really, you don't lose it. You surrender ownership of how you see yourself doing things by modeling it after the teacher. You let them kind of model it for you. And, it's an amazing thing. Wow. This is an amazing show. This is one of my favorite. Go ahead. Yeah. If you
You're saying, for example,
go ahead. What?
You were saying, for example?
Oh, for example, do you remember what I was giving an example of?
I was saying, like, you were saying moments, or, of evolution since joining, certain turning points, like the handling the bully. I think you were going to give an example like that.
Oh, I don't know.
For yourself.
For myself?
I don't know what you're going to do. You're just saying, for example. That's all I know.
I don't remember. Does anybody else remember? For example. I have a lot of transitions. They're smaller and more frequent because I live so close. And let's see. The transitions come from TM, from transcendental meditation lately. And as far as like relationships or communication, from Arash, there's been a transition talking about modeling is how to do like reward, how to reward good behavior and do the opposite.
Like right on and try again.
Huh?
Like when she does something right, I just remember, for example,
oh yeah, like that
texting her right.
Yeah, like
right on, like good job or good girl. And then when she does something, says a bad communication, I'm like, try again. I think Demigod. I think Demigod said that. Yeah, try again.
Yeah. So yeah, just seeing how he does that, and the subtlety and the good nature with it, and the strategy of it. Like it's like I see the likeness to yoga and practicing postures and breathing, because everybody already has posture and everybody is already breathing. So why learn to do posture and breathing? Everybody already, let's say, has a dog and wants the dog to behave how they want the dog to behave. And there's nothing to be learned there. But then you learn the skill of posture or the skill of breathing, and you learn the skill of dog training. And depending on the quality of teacher you get and the quality of teaching, you learn a more effective or less effective, but you get something where somebody's invested some time and effort to figure out the details. And so now you have all this effort trying to train the dog and reward the dog and punish the dog and whatever. And at some point, it's so try hard. The art of it is really to learn to apply it while like being present with the creation of it, appreciating the moment of it. You could say like the presence of it. Like people would say, like, be yourself. How can you be yourself while also applying the right strategy? So it's like with the girl, you learn how to interact with a girlfriend, or you just learn some references and some options that were outside of your references before. So you get like some contrast, and you can decide and you apply it how you want. And at some point it becomes, are you too serious playing chess or are you really in the spirit of it? And, you know, so it's taken me a little bit deeper in that by watching him train his dog and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, right on. Okay. So I know we only have like 10 minutes or even less, not too many comments coming in. Is there anything, let's see, anything else to say about the past or anything you want to say about what's upcoming?
Something that when you were talking that came up with inspiration was getting the tattoos.
Right.
Was
right.
moment.
Yeah. Show them.
Moment. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's gonna just the Facebook Live. Yeah. So I got the AZD and I got the IMC logo.
Yeah.
And really, for many reasons,
Here, do it again.
to show how much I
pose for a screenshot for the thumbnail. Hold on, and then make a sound so it takes over the screen. Yeah, make the whole IMC tattoo, make the whole AZD tattoo in it. The shoulder is cut off. Is
that good?
I didn't get. So tell us which one is AZD, which one's IMC.
This one's IMC Nation, IMC logo, and this one's AZD.
There it is. All right, cool.
Yeah. Really, for many reasons. One's to show like how important it is to me, and another one is to show the loyalty, like how you know, like how, you know, I'm going to be a part of this for life, you know, and you know how AZD shows so much respect and recognition for L. Ron Hubbard and all of his mentors. This is mine for him because this is somebody that's going to be, you know, like L. Ron Hubbard was to him. That's AZD to me. So that's one thing. And then also representation. I want to be a representation of IMC and AZD, the philosophy of it, and really just everything, and embody that. So that's what it represents in that right there. I mean, really, it wasn't like, that wasn't my mindset getting it. Like, okay, this is going to be a turning point. Well, I guess that it really is, because there is no turning back from that. I'm not planning on turning back from that. And, that what, you know, getting these, I was just inspired to do it. So that, I believe, is a turning point for sure. And like you said, it's just such subtle things every single day. With, you know, every Lions Den, every product, every boot camp, there's a shift, him speaking, you know, the universal truth, resonance with my internal truth, and really helps me with everything, every problem, everything that I want, everything that I am. It just helps me. So,
brother, let me ask, what is the difference? Is it worth paying $1,000 or $2,000 for a boot camp when you get 30, 60 hours of teaching in Lions Den for $100? What's the difference?
What's the difference? So this is for the people that have just been on Lions Den and or, you know, done products that haven't been to a boot camp yet. What I would say is looking to it now, like looking at the past, like if I was just in Lions Den and never went to a boot camp, my evolution wouldn't be nearly as fast. I wouldn't have evolved nearly as much, and probably I wouldn't be nearly as serious. I don't even know if I'd still be here if I was still on Lions Den. You know, if you live in America, I understand. If you live out in a different country, that could be, you know, more difficult. But if you live here in America, it's definitely a whole different experience, especially I would say the first couple. Now I get used to Arash and how good of a presenter and how good of a speaker, and like understanding like more of what he is, that I get used to it. But the first couple boot camps is just like hitting you in the face, because you'll never meet I've never met another person like this, you know, and really seeing that person with your own two eyes, it's like seeing God, you know. It's like seeing a unicorn in person, you know. So I would say it's definitely worth it, just for how much it's going to hit you, because it's right in your face. You see it. You're going to meet him. He's going to lock eyes with you. And the words, his energy, his vibe, the energy in the room, it's going to, just that, without all the technology and all the words, that is going to internally shift you. And it's motivation, but it's really coming out of that camp, you're going to come out of that camp a whole different person. Versus, let's just say, I can really reference it from going on to online boot camps and in person boot camps. The difference between those is when you're around that energy in person, you get so much more out of it. Like, it's the same technology. If you're watching online, it's the same words, but it hits you way differently, and it's definitely worth the extra 1,000 or 1,500 or whatever just to pay versus the online boot camp versus the in-person. So that's why I try to make it to every in-person one I can, versus online. Yeah,
bro, you are literally,
plus the connections.
Yeah, of course. Meeting other IMC people, again, it's just another reference. You're seeing like another face of you through someone else. They're living like a similar life. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I wrestled at University of Oklahoma, top program. I had brothers that we were going through the blood, sweat, and pain every day, and the broken bones and, concussions and whatever, and competitions and weight cutting. And it's different. It's different. This is even deeper than that, even though it's less of that. So it's amazing. This has literally been one of my favorite episodes, favorite conversations. Maybe it's your enthusiasm about the subject because you're new in it. I still got it, man. That's why I'm where I'm at, because at 5-6 years, I still got that and more. So look forward to having you back. Everybody subscribe, follow. Any guys, you want to come to the camp, hit me up. You want to get on Lions Den, you can find it. And that's that. Any ladies, you want to go to Silent Flute, go to ninthlimb.com and check out my Silent Flute. That's where that's at. Guys, you can too for yoga training, but that's not what this podcast is about. So I'll see you. Thanks, DC Deven Cripe. People can follow me on Instagram, DC Spartan God, right? That's the whole handle.
Yep.
DC, like
DC Spartan God.
There it is. And then me is Yogi Chris PhD. That's the Instagram now. All right. Oaths, brother.
Oaths.